Welcome back to Skipper's View Podcast, episode 196. We're brought to you by Chinook Eatery. Use the code Skipper's View at checkout. They got some great flavors over there. I mean, original jalapeno ranch, smokehouse barbecue, lemon pepper, cinnamon toast, hatch chili, dill pickle, and Parmesan pepper. That's honestly my personal favorite, but all of them are great. You guys got to give them a try. Check them out for sure. And let's dive right into this. We got a lot of big pitching matchups this week that they were amazing. First one, obviously, we got to talk about Misiorowski Skeens. I mean, they had American Family Field. They had it packed on Wednesday, Tuesday afternoon. I think it was the biggest crowd they've ever had on a day game in Milwaukee Brewers history. And Misiorowski won that battle. I mean, he went 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. He's gone, I think, 3 hits now allowed in his first 16 innings of his big league career with 1 run, which is absurd. And Skeens, surprisingly, not a good outing for him. 4 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 Ks, and 2 strikeouts. It was the 4 runs were all in the 1 inning in the 3rd inning, I believe. It was the most runs he's had in a single inning in his career so far, and we haven't really seen that from Skeens at all this year. So it was an awesome pitching duel between these two. I think it was probably one of the most anticipated we've seen all year, one of the most hyped up we've seen all year, especially with how good Misiorowski's been since he came up. I mean, you could say he's probably a top 5 pitcher in the last 3 weeks since he got called up. Obviously, we know Skeens is, besides Terry School, was probably the best pitcher on the planet. Did you catch any of these games, Brett?
So, as you know, I was in Texas doing a work event. I did get to watch a little baseball, though. I did get to have a little fun. I did tune into the Misiorowski Skeens game for a little bit. Dude, my goodness, I'm so glad I grabbed Misiorowski in like every fantasy league that I could. The Brewers dude, they're the new Tampa Bay Rays, I think, in terms of like being like the number 1 producer of like talented arms. Look at the arms and also the guys who just get acquired to their team. Look what they do with them. They tinker and they make them a million times better. Misiorowski is fun to watch. I saw a stat somewhere that he's already got like 5 pitches recorded over like 102 some miles an hour. And for this season, I think number 1 was Hunter Green with like 11. He'll probably jump him pretty soon. Misiorowski's, dude, he's got a howitzer of an arm, dude. It's awesome.
I mean, he's this season in the 3 starts, his fastball velo is averaging 99.6 miles per hour. It also goes with an extension that is 7.6 feet, which is the longest in baseball. So that 99.6 get on you probably at 101.5, 102. Like that's absurd. It's insane how good this guy is. He's literally a freak. And I know like his flaw, and I think the reason why he wasn't as high as a prospect as you'd think when he came up was probably because of the walk issues that he had in the minor leagues. Like I know he would, you could have a start where he could just walk 4 or 5 guys, and it was just he could go on streaks where he walks a lot of guys and he doesn't walk anybody. So I'm interested to see how long he can keep this streak going right now, where the command's been pretty good. I guess the command itself hasn't been great, but obviously the control's been there. He hasn't been walking guys. So I'm interested to see when he runs into that bump, because it's inevitably going to come at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Did you get to watch? So there's a little history about this Chase Burns start. I think I told you offline. I'm going to tell you a story about this online. My girlfriend, like a month and a half ago, scheduled us to go down to Cincinnati, meet with her dad and her brother to go to this Yankee game on Tuesday. I said, yeah. 2 weeks ago, she reminded me about this game, and I was like so excited for it. I never checked the date. This is overlapped clearly with what I mentioned earlier in the show, that I was in Texas for a work event. So, yeah, I'm not in the, I don't have a lot of brownie points right now with her. I need to get out of the doghouse on that one. But Chase Burns was disgusting. 5 strikeouts to start his MLB career. Did you tune into this? My bad if you already said this one.
I didn't get to tune into it at all, but my phone was blowing up in all these group chats about just, holy shit, this guy struck out the first 5 batters that he faced against the Yankees, too. I know they've been struggling lately, but they've still, I believe, been the best offense in baseball this year. I mean, he went 5 innings into the ERA, he ended up giving him 3 runs, which, I mean, still a big league debut, 5 innings, 3 runs. I think anyone would take that for the big league debut, with 8 Ks, but it was an electric start out there for him.
Yeah, he looked like a professional. It was awesome. He he looks like he's going to be a really good pitcher for the Reds. And the Reds are like a team that I like to see do good. Like there's not many teams I root against. Like if you're actively not trying to get better, that's what I hate. Like I right now, like I'm mad with the Rockies. I don't think they're doing justice to their players. I'm mad with the Athletics. We saw how many players that they could have had on their roster that they parted ways with over the last like 5 to 10 years. Dude, my buddy texted us during the last episode, by the way. He was like, dude, I am so sick of seeing Athletics pitchers go to other teams and dominate. And I was like, who did it this time? He just goes, Jesus Luzardo. And that was so long ago that I totally forgot Luzardo was an Athletic at one point because he would do the Miami thing. Yeah, now he's in Philly. Yeah.
Because I feel like when I view Luzardo, I honestly kind of forgot about that. I feel like I just thought about him as a Marlin, and then before he became a Philly.
Dude, exactly. And it's like Jesus Luzardo, like when he was coming up, I don't know, were you following him when he was coming up?
A little bit, but not too much, honestly.
Okay, so he was very hyped, very hyped. I don't like. I'm not going to go into these pitching analytics. Oh, he had a 98 mile an hour fastball. But no, he was very hyped, and that was a very known thing. And like, it is a shame. So those are the teams I do not like who do not try. The Reds try, and I think that they make small moves to do what they can do. It's not a big city. Cincinnati's not the most number one destination, even though I hear it's a lovely city. It's just hard to attract players to go there, especially their payroll's not what the Yankees, the Dodgers is. So they got to make moves, and I feel like they do a good job drafting. I think they do a good job with development. It's more of just like they need to go a little bit over the top, signing some guys to add to like the Chase Burns and the Andrew Rabbits and the Hunter Greens of the world because they definitely have talent in Cincinnati. They just need, they need more.
I mean, I think they do need to spend some more money. Obviously, the owner, I believe he's not one of these huge net worth guys and stuff like that, but I believe they're normally around the bottom half of baseball and payroll, maybe around 15 max. And they just, when was the last time a big free agent you even heard Cincinnati was even in the ring for a guy? It
Yeah.
just sucks when there's like you have a good player that's like it was crazy when they gave Nick Martinez the qualifying offer because it was like they're gonna give Nick Martinez $20 million a year.
If I remember correctly, a lot of people were predicting Anthony Santander to like the Royals or the Reds last offseason before he signed with Toronto. And thank God the Reds didn't get him, honestly. Like, they didn't overpay for him, even though they could use an outfielder, I think. But shows that they won that one clearly. But, we got to talk about the man, the myth, the legend here. We got to talk about Clayton freaking Kershaw. He is now at 37 years old, 299 career strikeouts, meaning that these Dodger tickets, if you're in the LA area and you're listening, probably not, but if you are, you got to go buy tickets to see his next start. Hopefully it's at home. I don't know if it's home or away the way he's lined up.
I believe it's the White Sox.
I hope that the Dodgers, if it's not, like alter it because, like obviously they're banged up, but they're creative. They, like make this a home game. Let Kershaw get as much rest as possible and just dominate. To have a great start. You said it's versus the White Sox. That's perfect. Like let them like have like 11 Ks, just like crush the 3,000 number.
I mean, yeah, and I think Dave Roberts, he came out today too, and they said like, "Hey, he's 8 away against the Rockies at Coors Field. Do you feel inclined to leave him in there maybe a little bit longer to get that 8 strikeouts today?" And I believe his response was, "No, if anything, I want to take him out earlier so we can get in front of the home crowd." So it's something the Dodgers definitely have already thought about. On let's make sure he gets this done in front of the home crowd and not in Colorado.
Do you know off the top of your head how many people have north of 3,000 strikeouts?
19.
Oh, so you looked this up earlier, or did you just
I have
know
the
it?
page right in front of me right now.
Okay, same. It's great minds think alike. So, like right now, people like I know it. Like I'm gonna list some names that are current players. Verlander's up there. Scherzer's in there. That's it. Of the guys that are active that are in the 3,000 strikeout club, and both Verlander and Scherzer. I know Scherzer just made his comeback from the injured list, but like, you know what I mean? Like. 2 guys out of the 19 are active. Everyone else has done this. There's no one even close. If you look at, if we go to career strikeouts for like MLB. How many guys do you think are even close right now besides Kershaw?
I mean, after Kershaw cuts down 800 strikeouts to 2,100 to Charlie Morton, I mean, the next five after that, Kevin Gausman, Sonny Gray, Patrick Corbin, Jose Quintana, Jacob deGrom.
So, but and Chris Sale, he's at 2,500. He's 30. How old is Chris Sale? He's what? 30.
36?
Why does it not have his birthday? Yeah, he's in his mid 30s. He needs another 500, and he's got way more injury concerns than others. So he's no guarantee to make it. Outside of Chris Sale, then it drops off big time to who do we got? Garrett Cole at 22.51, who's also in his mid 30s and coming off of Tommy John surgery. Dude, who's the next guy? Charlie Morton's not hitting. He's in his 40s. He's 41. He's at 2,100. And then, Yu Darvish, he's at 2,000. He's 38. He's not hitting it. Gausman, he's 34. No. Nolan, no. Gray, no. We don't have anyone right now lined up to hit 3,000 for a while. And that, we have to pray all things go well with Skeens and now Misiorowski for that to happen. This is a huge accomplishment for Clayton Kershaw. I just want people to know, since he started pitching in the major leagues, we've seen a global financial crisis. That was back in 2008. We've seen the entirety of the COVID-19 pandemic from start to almost close to finish. Obviously, COVID's still a thing, but and then you also have Brexit. Brexit happened during Clayton Kershaw's reign in the MLB. This guy has been pitching for an eternity. Believe it's 17 seasons. If I'm doing the math right, I'm probably not. But, dude, where do you rank Kershaw amongst the greats? Is he the best lefty of all time?
I think he's got to be up there, at least the top three, probably. I've never really looked into left-handed all-time numbers. That's something I need to do now. You've got me intrigued on that, and just where would I rank him all time? But he's got to be a top 10 pitcher, at least all time, in my opinion. Because I'm also someone too. Obviously, I know that you played in your era. You can't change the era you played in, but I don't like when we're talking about these 1920 pitchers, the best players of all time, because it's any pitcher, a AAA pitcher is better than those dudes back then.
So, the best left-hand pitchers, you got Steve Carlton, Glavine, Lefty Grove, Carl Hubble, Tommy John, Randy Johnson, Kershaw, and Eddie Plank, CC, Warren Spahn. So just looking at those guys, I don't have to look at all their numbers. Clayton Kershaw for sure has an argument. I think Clayton Kershaw, I think people would argue for Carlton for sure. I think people would argue for Tom Glavine and the big unit, dude. I would argue for Randy personally, but Kershaw has to be considered one of the best left-handed pitchers, if not, and let alone one of the best pitchers of all time to play the game of baseball. This one I will tune into for sure. I will make time for it. Go out and watch Clayton Kershaw. Do you have his auto?
I did not know. Actually, I do. Yeah, I have a signed jersey of him.
Hell yeah! Oh, dude, you have a signed jersey and you forgot that? How does one forget that?
Sorry, a space for a second. A space.
I have a signed card by him, so I'm excited about that one. But yeah, Kershaw is, a monster. And another guy who's a monster who's in his mid-30s. We talked about him last episode, and that's Jacob freaking deGrom. Hagen, talk about his last start here.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about deGrom anymore. I mean, he took a no-hitter into the eighth inning. 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts versus the Orioles. I wasn't even tuned into this one rarely for a deGrom start. This may be the second or third start I've missed from him all year long. And I just get a text oh, I know you're going to tweet about this if it happens. And I was like, what? And it was a certain event in Texas tonight. And I checked my phone. I was like, oh my gosh, deGrom's throwing a no-hitter right now. And that was through 6. So it's awesome to see this from deGrom. I mean, I've been a big advocate on this podcast for a long time now, saying Jacob deGrom is still elite when he's healthy. It just, the health is the factor there. And the cool thing to me on this is, I've been sitting on this one for a while now, is after that start, he's now thrown the most innings he's had in a single season since 2019, his last Cy Young year. This is deGrom. This is the healthiest we've seen deGrom since 2019. And he's still putting up is a 2 ERA. He's firmly in the AL Cy Young conversation at this moment right now. He's still one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, and he's still dominating. He's still the Jacob deGrom, maybe not as great as he once was, not the best pitcher in baseball, like whatever, like a Skubal or a Skeens, but he's still one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, and he's still going out there, and he's going to give you 1 to 2 runs every time he goes out there.
So I was just looking at Clayton Kershaw's page. Do you know his career WAR?
I guess like 58.5.
Dude, 79.6. He's gonna finish with north of 80 WAR, which I think the requirement was like 75 WAR. It's not like a hard. I don't know if that's actually a requirement. I don't think it is. I think it's just more of like how like most guys don't get in if they don't hit that number.
Mm-hmm.
So Jacob deGrom, think about all the time he's missed. Jacob deGrom has 48 career WAR, and Jacob deGrom has had 234 starts. How many starts do you think Kershaw's have?
He's gonna be 500-ish.
439. So if you take 439, and I'm sorry, I'm doing live math on the show here. If you take 439 and divide it by 79.6, that equals 5.5. Oh, sorry, that's not the right math. But what I'm saying is, like, if you look at deGrom, 234 games started, 48 WAR. Times that by 2, it's virtually 468 games, just a little bit north of Kershaw, and his WAR would be a 92 compared to Kershaw's 80. That's how good Jacob deGrom is. That's what I'm trying to like get out with doing bad math here. That's why I work in sales. But dude, oh my goodness, Jacob deGrom is a monster.
It's insane. Like, and I didn't honestly realize. I realized this yesterday. Is Jacob deGrom and Clayton Kershaw are the same exact age? deGrom debuted in 2014. Clayton Kershaw debuted in 2008.
Yeah, and exactly. So it's like if you have the games that like 439 versus the 234, and you times it by 2, give him the same amount of game as Kershaw. Jacob deGrom's a better pitcher than Clayton Kershaw.
I mean, I've had this argument a lot, especially in the offseason. This might be
one of the
arguments I've had in the offseason. Is who is the better pitcher in their prime, Jacob deGrom or Clayton Kershaw? And as a numbers guy, I gotta say the numbers, if you take like a 3-year span, they do lean Kershaw a little bit. But I do have some bias, obviously being a Mets fan and deGrom's a favorite player, but I still take Jacob deGrom's prime over Clayton Kershaw's prime. I don't care they won an MVP. I mean, Jacob deGrom, 2018 deGrom, 2019 deGrom, 2021 deGrom. I'm convinced I will never see a pitcher as dominant as I saw Jacob deGrom in 2021 in those 91 innings he put up.
The thing is, for me, like if you word the argument like before, like before you get into it, if you say, I believe this is I feel like a Brady versus Rodgers argument where it's like, I believe Aaron Rodgers is a more talented quarterback than Tom Brady. People like still freak out. They're like, Tom Brady. It's like Rodgers is probably more talented than Tom Brady. Like I think it's hard to argue that with his numbers and like, dude, his touchdown interception ratio. But like Brady is the hardware. And I think it's the same thing with Kershaw compared to Jacob deGrom in that argument where Kershaw is the hardware and the stats and the accolades versus like Rodgers' peak performance, i.e. Jacob deGrom's peak performance is, I think just better than Kershaw's, even though Kershaw's so freaking good, dude. That's such a
It's a tough argument.
It's a tough argument. I don't know where I lean, actually. I'm all tongue-tied now. I'm not tongue-tied. I'm just confused.
If you're going to take peak, I will say the numbers slightly lean Kershaw, but I take deGrom.
Dude, Kershaw does have an MVP.
I believe he's the last pitcher to win MVP as well.
Yeah, that's insane. Well, we could argue that on a different episode because I think we can go for a while on that. Let's talk about some injuries. So, Hagen, take us off. We got a few things going on in the league this week.
So Diamondbacks superstar outfielder Corbin Carroll, he's going to be out for a significant amount of time with a wrist injury, which that's a big blow for the Diamondbacks, and I think it opens the question more on if they're going to possibly sell now, especially how this team's going to do without him and how long he ends up being out for. Another one, Luis Robert Jr., he was pinch hit for in the first inning, and there was a lot of trade speculation because everyone thought oh, he may be getting traded. He was in lineup, then the first inning gets pinch hit for. But it just came out, it was left hamstring tightness that he kind of tweaked before the game and then just didn't get a scratch from the lineup until the game actually started. They're on Boston, who's had some pitching. The pitching has been the best for him this year. Who they're going to miss? They're likely going to have Cutter Crawford miss the entire season now. He's going to undergoing surgery on his right wrist. And the odd thing about this is they still don't even know exactly how he injured his wrist, which is honestly kind of crazy to me. And Andrew Alex Cora, he was rather quick to deny that it was due to irresponsible behavior. So we'll see about if we ever end up finding out eventually on what exactly happened around that. But hopefully we find out. But sucks for him, sucks for Boston. And then Boston also, they're going to remain without Bregman until at least the All-Star break, which it seems like we talk about that is it's far away, but honestly the All-Star break is kind of creeping up on us quick now. I believe it's 3 weeks now. It's creeping up, so not too much longer. The Boston won't be out Bregman, but they could really use him at this time. Jordan Walker on the Cardinals, he got placed on the IL with appendicitis. That's not something you see on the IL very often, especially in today's game, but sucks for him. Hopefully we'll get him back here pretty soon. And then also Griffin Canning today. He actually had to start with the Mets calling a left ankle injury. In the moment, it looked like an Achilles. It looked like one of those no contact, kind of coming off the mound. It almost like there was a pop in there. I don't want to play doctor here, but it didn't look good. That's all I know. And I'm assuming he's going to be out for a solid amount of time here, which is it's a big blow for another Mets team who's had a lot of pitching injuries in this month of June.
Yeah, some definitely big injuries there. What I'll chime in on is, dude, Louis, that sucks for the White Sox. They needed Robert to be like spick and spam for the deadline. Like you'd sell him like a shiny used Audi A6 with 85,000 miles on it, like and sell it for top price. That sucks.
It does suck, especially when he's not good now. It's been like what I'm a dude who I'm advocating for. I would want Luis Robert on my team, but at the same time, I also acknowledge that he's been awful for 200 games now offensively.
Guess how many fantasy baseball leagues I'm in.
Aren't you in like 4 or 5?
I'm in 5. Actually, technically, I'm in 6, but I don't check one of them because I didn't know that it was going to be a weekly league instead of a daily league, and I was just like, no, I can't do this. Like, I need a daily, like 5 minutes to like review my team and set it, and like that's how I compete. Out of my 6 fantasy baseball teams, I have Corbin Carroll in 4 of those leagues. That's brutal.
I feel like that's how it is with you, though. I feel like you have so many teams where you have like the same like 4 or 5 guys on it.
Yeah, I got the young studs, Carroll, Churio, and J-Rod. It's awesome. But yeah, Corbin Carroll being out sucks too. I think this really puts kind of the last nail in the coffin for the Diamondbacks as they're now 9 games back in the West. They are still above 500, which is like good for them. Zach Gallen has not been good. And they obviously won't have Corbin Burns for the foreseeable future. It's hard to, and like Eugenio Suarez is a trade deadline piece. They're going to become sellers. I think they got to just like punt this year. Let's be smart. I know that sucks. Even with a winning record, that sucks to say. Like, dude, the Rockies would kill to be in your position right now. And like, it is what it is.
I mean, I do think that the Diamondbacks, I know they're the only, I mean, they made it in the playoffs as a wild card team and they went to the World Series. So I think they're going to be a team where they're going to say, hey, we can just sneak in there, get hot, and then still have a chance to win it all. But I mean, there's not that many pieces that are like that good, like game-changing players on the deadline this year. There's not that many sellers. I mean, even the teams with the sellers, how many dudes do you want from the Rockies, the Pirates, and the White Sox? There's not that many guys who really stand out on those teams. So I think it would benefit them too. I mean, you could get a haul for some of those guys, and you have, I believe, 4 guys at the deadline who are going to be free agents next year that you could deal off.
Dude, you could definitely trade Eugenio Suarez, and then I'm looking up Gurriel's contract right now because I feel like he's like a guy that like people would want in the outfield.
Agent or no agent?
He signed through 2027. He doesn't have that. I don't think that's that big of a like commitment to 2027.
And even too, then on the pitching side, you have Merrill Kelly, who's, I mean, Mr. Quality Start. I mean, the dude's so underrated. He just goes out there and he shoves every fifth day, keeps his team in the game to give him a chance to win. And also Zach Gallen, and I know his price is a little depleted from what he's been this year. I still think he has the worst qualified ERA in baseball, but at the end of the day, it's still Zach Gallen. I mean, I think teams would kind of buy into that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some National League news. I didn't have much on the American League this week. Actually, you know what? Let's take a second to talk about the American League. I do want to address that and I got to do this for our boy Ethan. Shout out, running at the OPS. The Tampa Bay Rays are now a half game back on New York in the AL East. Holy shit. That's awesome for the Tampa Bay Rays. Dude, they're doing it with everything. They're just a good baseball team. I have Brandon Lowe in 3 leagues, and I feel like every time I get a notification like Brandon Lowe goes yard, it's the best thing in the world because it just keeps happening. What a performance by Tampa Bay over this last month and a half. They are 7-3 in their last 10. They're on a 3-game win streak. Their differentials plus 81. I think that's good for. It's probably top like 5 teams in baseball. Yeah, it's 5th in baseball.
I mean, even too, like they're 25-16 above teams above 500. Like, I mean, they're beating good teams too. Like it comes at the perfect time where the Yankees have kind of got on that skid, so it's kind of sucks for them because the ground got closed quick. I believe it was like a 6-7 game lead, and it was 2 weeks ago, and now it's just a half game, which went by pretty quickly. But the Tampa Bay Rays are for real, man. I mean, they're still young. Like, we were talking about them being sellers, 3 weeks ago, a month ago? Like, as a possibility of, this guy could be dealt maybe. Yanni Diaz could be dealt. Now it's Tampa Bay's looking like buyers, and they could be a real force in the American League in the playoffs. Like, I mean, right now, I think, I would say just the last month, they're obviously the best team in, you'd probably say, baseball.
Dude, they're they're going to get Shane McClanahan back, most likely. They're right now throwing at you Shane Baz. They're showing, they got Mason, not even Mason Montgomery. Drew Rasmussen has been great. You also got like guys like Ryan Pepio, who has been lights out. And they're going to get McClanahan on top of Baz, Pepio, and, anyone else they throw at you. I don't know how Mason Montgomery's been doing. He's a hurler as well in the relieving. He was really intriguing, but I don't know how he's doing. But Garrett Clevenger, Pete Fairbanks, they just throw guys at you. It's crazy.
And even too, like Ethan put out a post today, and it was since 2021 lowest ERA among qualified starting pitchers, just starting pitchers. Drew Rasmussen has the best ERA in baseball. I believe it was like a 2.31.
Jesus,
it's insane. And then even too, like Taj Bradley, like he's still a stud, and I believe he's the worst one out of those 5. Like, you have McClanahan coming back hopefully soon. He posted a video on his Instagram yesterday of him throwing, so that's a great sign. And also too, like Joe Boyle's been shoving at AAA, and we all know Joe Boyle has.
He's due for a spot start at least, very soon. He for sure is. Toronto, I think they're going to make a mistake and try and buy at the deadline. I think they should totally sell whatever they can to like start building for the Vlad Guerrero era here. And he's obviously been with Toronto, but you know what I mean? Like the contract era of Vlad Guerrero Jr. Boston, they're 7 games back. Baltimore sucks. The Central, I don't even want to talk about. I feel bad that we keep shafting the Central. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. Detroit's clearly better than everyone in the Central. Everyone's 9.5 games back or more. And, unless the Royals make a move at the deadline, or at least if the Twins magically get healthy all at the same time, or if the Guardians finally decide to call up Chase DeLauder and give a little pop to this outfield in Cleveland, it's not that entertaining right now. I'm sorry. I'll pick on the Central for us. Dude, Astros, last time we were on this was on Sunday last week, they were 5 games up on everyone in the AL West. They're now 6.5 games up. Houston's on a tear right now.
Are they the quietest 48-33 record you've ever seen?
Dude, they are arguably the most quiet 48-33 record. They're 4th in baseball on record. They're tied with the Cubs. They're only behind the Dodgers and the Tigers, who are both 51-31. So, like, It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And Houston could add. They have money to spend. They could add at the deadline if they wanted to. Imagine they go out and get Sandy Alcantara. Dude, that would be scary.
The Astros were already just terrifying. I mean, when they kind of started out slow, I mean, even going into the year, there was a question on Framber was going to be a free agent, and you're probably not going to re-sign him, so do you trade him at the deadline? And I feel like that got put to bed really quick once they started picking it up and became a real threat in this American League again. And I think what's crazy, too, in the American League that I want to point out is just look at the wild card standings. If there's 7 teams right now in the wild card standings, going from the Mariners at the last spot right now, all the way down to the Kansas City Royals. 7 teams that are within 3.5 games of each other right now in the American League.
Yeah, it's really going to depend on situation. My thing is like, I want more teams to be consistently competitive in the league. I think that makes for better. Like, it's why hockey is so awesome. Like, I don't watch hockey the way I should, but like when I tune into the game in the playoffs, it's great because there's parity in the league. Like these teams a lot of them are equal, and they just like who's going to fight and dig it out and it's great. Baseball, I want it to be the same way. I don't want to see teams just be like terrible. Like that's no fun for anyone. The NL East, I'll let you comment on the NL East, what you're feeling right now. Obviously, Miami and Washington are.
Yeah, I mean, it's as we kind of all expected. It's just kind of a 3-horse race. I guess more 2 lately. I know the Braves, they've picked up some ground, obviously this year, but it's still, I think, the Mets and Phillies division. I think it's either going to be one of these two, and I think it's just going to be a back and forth, honestly, all year. The Braves are 9 games back right now. I think they're just more of a looking for a wild card, and if I had to say right now, I know I said I was out on them, I think, 2 weeks ago. I'm back in on the Braves, and I think they make the playoffs. But I think it's just me, Mets and Phillies, just going back and forth. They're both tied right now. Last I checked, the Mets were winning, so they could take the division lead, but it's been the Phillies are playing bad baseball and the Mets are playing good baseball. It feels like they're just doing the opposites because then the Phillies won like 9 of 10 and the Mets lost 10 of 11. So it's kind of going on. Both teams have their flaws. Both teams have their strengths, and I think it's going to be a very, very close race towards the end of the year.
Yeah, you said it. The NL Central, it's getting a lot more interesting just as like the Brewers are still on the tail of the Cubbies. The Cubbies, I think, they kind of have to make a move in order to like securely like not only like playoffs, but I'm talking like just holding on to the division because like Misiorowski's now here. They're gonna get Woodruff back at some point. The pitching overall for the Brewers have been great. They're I think that they can be sneaky. We'll see. And Jackson Churio is yet to really, really take off. He's due to like boom here. We'll see. And then the Cardinals, I'm still really mixed on the Cardinals. I don't know what to think about them. They're obviously much better than they've been the last couple of years. They're 44-38 right now, 4.5 games back. They're not out of it. It's just they're not, wowing me. And that goes same with the Reds. Like they have pieces. We talked about them earlier this episode. I'm not going to go to the Reds here, but like it's a weird division, and unless the Brewers are active at the deadline to acquire a bat, like I think that the Cubs will hold on. But I would love to see the Cubs go out and get some pitching. I really would.
And there was reports, I believe it was yesterday, that they've been looking at Sandy Alcantara and Mitch Keller. So there is some. They've already been known for their looking at some pitching right now. And Shota made his return from the IL today, which is big news for the Cubs as well to get him. Because I mean, like I said before, like I love Matthew Boyd. I love him as a 3. I don't love him as a 2. But he's been pitching like a 2 this year. It's if you could get like a Sandy, and you have Matthew Boyd as your game 3, Shota as your game 1, 2, and then Sandy, whatever one he doesn't take there. Because I think we both believe that Sandy could go out there and end up being a 1 by the end of the year, pick things back up. I mean, he has done that the last 3-4 starts. If the Cubs got Sandy, man, maybe I know the bullpen's really good lately, but maybe add another high leverage arm. That team could be pretty scary in the playoffs.
Yeah, they definitely could be very scary if they added Sandy Alcantara. And then finally the West, the Dodgers are just, I don't know, dude. I shouldn't even say I don't know how they're doing it because like it's the Dodgers, but they're banged up badly in the with the arms department. They are 20 games above 500, and they have a commanding 6-game lead in this division over both the Padres and the Giants at this point. I don't know if I'm using the word commanding there. It's probably like double digit, but like, you know what I mean? They're slowly just taking ground, and they're not going to not be active at the deadline. I think Ethan was saying it that like, imagine they go out and get a talented left field corner, and they go out and get like, who's the Cedric Mullins. Imagine they added Mullins to the Dodger lineup or someone like that, like just someone of value to their outfield. Dodgers can add, and like they will add. They don't care about spending money. They clearly don't care about it.
I mean, this Dodgers team going into the year, I believed, was the most talented roster in Major League history. I think the only team that really rivaled that was whatever the Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, like those Yankee teams. I think was the only other comp you really have. I mean, we haven't seen just this year in a long time. We haven't seen Roki Sasaki, Blake Snell, Tony Gonsolin had just been on the IL. Tyler Glass hasn't pitched. Brusdar Graterol, Edgardo Enriquez, Evan Phillips, Blake Trinan. They have 12 pitchers on the IL right now, and they have tied for the best record in Major League Baseball. This, like, I'm telling you, dude, I don't. They're a very heavy World Series favorite still, rightfully so. And it just gets to a point where I know it's baseball, and the postseason comes down to just pretty much who gets hot at the right time. But this just feels like a team, if they get all these guys in October, it just feels like it's. I don't know how they lose.
They're a freight train. They are a freight train. Dude, it's scary how good they've made that organization. It is scary how good they've made that organization. We'll jump off National League and stuff like that, but dude, unreal. The Mets, they signed Richard Lovelady this week to a 1-year deal. What's his nickname going by?
He requested to go by Dickie Lovelady, which the Mets fans loved it, and it was kind of awesome. The broadcast was loving it on there. Gary Keith Braun, so it was awesome, and they signed him to a major league deal too. And he was really good in AAA this year, and I was actually kind of excited to see him, especially because they DFA'd 2 lefties before him, right before. So it was like, all right, this can be our lefty for a little bit now. But the surprising part is he came in, pitched an inning in 2/3, and he got DFA'd the next day. He lasted a day on the Mets.
Jeez.
But Mets legend already. Always will be.
Mets legend already. A few miscellaneous notes before we close out here. We got Bobby Witt Jr. commits to Team USA. He's joining Paul Skeens and Aaron Judge. Love to see that. America needs to battle back for this title. I think it's only right, hosting the best major league, professional league of baseball to, have a fighting chance to win this thing. So I'm hoping Trout, he'll probably commit to doing this. He always does it, right?
I was actually having this conversation with my dad the other day because I would assume Trout does it. Obviously, health bearing, but is Trout? I don't know. Is Trout a starter on this team right now? I mean, if you just take the best, obviously it depends on who's in on this outfield, but you have the way PCA is playing right now: Kyle Tucker, Corbin Carroll, Mike Trout, James Woods. Honestly, in that conversation now, like it's Aaron Judge. That's 6 outfielders right there,
dude.
I think I'm missing somebody too.
Yeah, but you could put and dude, Team USA could be gross.
It's going to come down.
Who you started first? First? Oh no, I forgot he's Canadian. Who would you start first? Probably then? Alonso. Second base would be
maybe Gunnar goes over there. Oh, Gunnar probably go to third.
Bobby Witt at short, and second base would be like.
I mean, you could run just the second, third short of Bobby Witt, Gunnar Henderson, and Trey Turner.
That'd be gross. It would be so nasty. And then
Cal
Raleigh's catching. Oh my god!
Can you imagine? Like, I know it's going to come down to they always put out a really good lineup, but it's going to be down to the pitching. But you already have Skeens. They didn't really have last time. I think we had Adam Wainwright in elimination games. 38-year-old Adam Wainwright out there on elimination games throwing 88 miles an hour. I mean, Skeens loan's a big jump, but obviously I don't think everyone's going to join it. But I hope they do because, dude, if you could go Skeens, Crochet,
Jacob Misiorowski.
Yeah. Put him in the bullpen. Have him throw 103 out of there.
He's from Missouri, so he can play for Team USA. But that's really cool seeing Bobby Witt Jr. join. Few bad news and notes, I'd say here. Torey Lovullo he went on a I'm sorry, I was about to really rip an F-bomb there. He went on a tangent rant about this fan who was shouting out at Ketel Marte about I guess trying to talk smack, and it was involving his late mother. Dude, this fan's disgusting. He should not only be allowed in this stadium. He shouldn't be allowed in any stadiums. I don't care if someone's
He did end up getting banned from every major league stadium.
yeah, dude. I only saw this late last night. I didn't get to read the whole into this, but dude, what is wrong with people? I don't.
It goes back to the Lance McCullers thing, where it's just scumbag of the earth type of people, where it's just already these dudes are going out there, they're playing Major League Baseball, they're trying to compete out there, and you're going to go after him personally, let alone his mother who passed away. It's just fucked up.
Yeah, and then this one's more of it's sad, not sad, but this is more just come on, Pittsburgh, what's going on here? So, O'Neal Cruz got benched for lack of effort after losing track of outs versus the Brewers. What do you think about this?
I don't know. He did have the instance last week where there was that ground ball hit in center field, and it was just lazily went up, didn't get in front of it, just kind of took it from the side, rolls past him, and he just didn't even just watch it, let his other outfielder run there and get the ball. So I hate nothing more in Major League Baseball and these athletes. If you're out there giving 100% effort, I know I say some dudes suck sometimes, but I know that they're going out there giving it their all. But when you're not giving it your all, you're getting paid millions of dollars. I know it's easy for me to say that, sitting behind a screen on social media and stuff, but dude, you got to give some effort out there. I mean, obviously, I think it's good that he got benched because you shouldn't just be lackadaisical out there showing no effort, not being in the game. I mean, dude, there are so many guys, and not even just who don't play Major League Baseball, dudes who are in AAA right now, dudes who are in Japan playing because they're still trying to get back to the Major Leagues that would take that spot right there. And would give anything out there, give all the effort in the world to go out there. So I hate when dudes are lazy on baseball. Nothing pisses me off more.
And finally, probably one of the more controversial things that's going on this week in baseball. Barry Bonds, he's going to receive a statue outside of Giants Oracle Park, says the CEO, Larry Baer. What are your thoughts on this, Hagen? Do you think this sends the wrong message? Because obviously Bonds is notoriously known for being one of the, users of steroids here. And I don't think it's cancel culture, but I don't know if we, obviously Barry Bonds is I think he should be in the Hall of Fame just because he was that good. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he deserves a statue? Obviously, it's Barry Bonds. It's hard to.
I think he already should have had a statue. I mean, Barry Bonds is the GOAT. He was the first ballot Hall of Famer before he even took steroids. Barry Bonds is the GOAT. Obviously, I think Shohei will overtake that eventually after he gets 10, 12 years under his career, but I think this is well deserved by Barry Bonds. And I was honestly surprised that they didn't have one already for him. I know it was kind of controversial because he's not in the Hall of Fame and steroids and stuff like that, but I love the decision to give him a statue because he is the best player of all time.
I think so, dude. I've mentioned on the show 100 times just because I love MLB Showdown, but dude, his 2003 card where you typically guys on base in the game were anywhere between a 7 and a 11, and he was a 16. It's what? Dude, his 2003 MLB Showdown card was the coolest thing in the world. Outside of that, I see you got a trivia question here.
Yeah, so it's for you. When was the last time I'll start with this. So Cal Raleigh's on pace for 56 home runs right now. Aaron Judge is on pace for 57. So it's supposed to be close. We have a possibility of two guys hitting 60 home runs this year, which would be awesome, seeing a home run race at that high of a level. But do you know the last time two players in Major League Baseball hit 60 home runs in a season? And if you know the year, who were they?
I would guess McGwire or Sosa.
You got Sosa for one of them. He hit 64.
Was it Bonds Sosa? Okay.
Bonds Sosa in 2001.
Okay. I was my next guess after that was Jose Canseco or someone in that era, just a meathead. But dude, that's what year was it? 19 what?
Or 2001. 24 years since that happened.
Oh wow. And it's still not even projected to happen. It's just it's gonna be close.
It was projected to happen, and then Judge his home runs went down a little bit, but I still think still think Judge could easily get 60.
I would love to see. Yeah, dude, Judge could just need to like have a week at Colorado and just like just send bombs off. Well, I think that let's make a hot take prediction. Do you think it will happen? Yes or no?
I think yes. I say yes.
260. All right. I'll lock it in the hot take tracker. All right. Well, that's it for us, folks. Thank you for listening. If you're still here, go follow the website to see our blogs. Subscribe if you want to help the writers make some money on their content. We don't do ads. We won't do ads ever. We just looking to get our writers paid for the work they do. So appreciate it. Thank you again, and bye.